What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content daily. We also stream on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday mornings U.S. time, so come by and say hello. Okay, so I wanted to take a closer look at SPS and what the trajectory going up would look like. I've been spending a lot of time diving into the charts, and I will just throw this out on the front end. I am not a TA or technical analysis expert. I actually don't know anything about technical analysis, although I love I love listening to all types of analysis, not just for SPS, but for all coins out there. I find it fascinating, and obviously, there are things that can be gleaned from certain patterns from an analytical standpoint. But for me, I'm trying to just look at this as like basic human psychology from where I would be, from what I would be doing. And then more specifically, what I'll be bringing into this is a lot of the anecdotal conversations that I've been having with people who plan on exiting Splinterlands once there is a significant pump. Now, quick shout out to Crypto Llama. Crypto Llama does some great TA for SPS. So if you're looking for that, definitely go check out and support his channel. But for me, one of the interesting things that I do is I really try to engage with everybody that comes on the channel that comments. Even a lot of the negative comments, or people say that they're quitting Splinterlands or they're waiting for a certain moment in time, or specifically a certain pump. So one of the questions that I generally put out there quite often, and in a respectful way, because again, I understand people are upset, they're frustrated, but I want to create constructive dialogue, or at least constructive for me. So one of the questions that I always put out there is like, okay, you're planning to exit, you think that this game is dying, but you're holding off until when, right? So that's actually one of the questions that I ask the most, and then, usually get an answer. And again, most of this is related to SPS price, right? So one of the more interesting things that I've gotten from this in terms of information, and again, all anecdotal, all somewhat anonymous. I mean, anonymous in the sense that it's in the YouTube comments. So I don't know these people personally. I don't know what makes them tick and what motivates them, but from what they've been telling me, there's certain buying price points that they got in at that they're so disappointed with, and they plan on selling at whenever they get back or close to those points in order to make their money back, right? They are just trying to break even and exit out of this terrible, terrible game, as they put it. So in those conversations, like I said, I understand that people want to exit, but for me, the information that I come away with is, okay, what are these price points that people are willing to sell at? So there are a couple here. Obviously, the first one coming up would probably be 20 cents or like in the 20-cent range. But deeper than that, what I wanted to go into was the 1 year chart here. And SPS hasn't even been out for 1 year. So just keep that in mind. And if we look here, obviously we hit our top, probably around $1 back in in October of last year. And that was with the Chaos Legion hype. That was, when vouchers were first introduced, all that fun stuff, yada, yada, yada. We got close to $1. On the daily, it looks like we maxed out at 88 cents. This is the highest that I can see. But the all-time high that we have was $1. Ooh, actually, it's interesting. $1.07 in July. But I feel like we may have crossed $1, just not on any of the closing lines here for October. Either way, what I look at and what I see when I look at this is, where are the significant dips that people bought in at? Right? Where were the points in time where people bought in at that they would be then looking to exit at once we reach that point, right? Now, I've gotten a couple of these, like I said, from anecdotal conversations, but I wanted to actually take a look, and this is what I've been spending a lot of time on, is where would these other points be? Because obviously I'm not talking to everybody in the space. And so when looking at this, we had this major run up, and if you bought in at the top, like at $1, I'm not even going to entertain that right now. I don't think we're anywhere close to $1 or going to get anywhere close to $1 in the near future. But here was the first one, right? So we got at or near $1, and then we dipped down to 81 cents, right? Or 81 cents. Now, this is significant to me because I bought in a huge chunk. When I saw that we dipped 20% from that all-time high or near all-time high down to 81 cents, I actually put in a significant amount more. And that was partly because I was trying to get vouchers for the pre-sale. And it's not something that I regret. Obviously, hindsight is 2020, but I like my Dr. Blights, and they've been good. So they've been very good to me so far, I should say. So you'd have that first dip there. again, I probably want to even throw this out of the window. The only reason I'm bringing it up is because it's relevant to me. Although if SPS were to hit 81 cents again, I don't know. I mean, I have no plans of like liquidating at that point. I might take some initial capital out because one of the ways that I did was one of the things that I did was actually pull from another investment. And so maybe if I were to get back up to that level, I'd be able to pull a little bit out, put it back into the other investment type of thing. But that's so far away that I'm not even thinking about it or entertaining. So then we see this massive slide, this dip as we get into the 50, I want to say like, yeah, close to like the 49 to 50, 59 cent range here. So as you can see, there's a lot of price action happening around, but this was a massive slide to come down here. Now, I actually, again, this is my anecdotal, but I actually bought in a good amount at this price point as well. So once we dropped down, I was like, oh, okay, 50% discount. Like, let's go. This is great. So I bought in a bunch here, and several of the people that I spoke to bought when it dipped almost 50%. Then we have the next slide down here where we get to the low 40s, right? So we found the support here at 38 cents, and then we kind of just ranged around the low to mid 40s for a little bit before taking the final tumble here. Well, we were in the low 30s for a bit, and then we were in the low 20s for a significant amount of time. Held that for support until finally, I would say, capitulation happened, and we've been in the low teens, and obviously the low of like 9 cents for a while. Now, what you can take a look at this and see, okay, well, we had maybe the Waka pump that happened in February, which is why we see a little bit of a bump here, and then everything just kind of bled out again before we got this new validator news, ranking rewards, whatever it's called, update. No, rewards update is what I should call it. Ranked rewards update, and the validator node news that pushed us up, but obviously we've continued to somewhat bleed out. Again, this is not just Splinterlands, but the rest of the market too, right? So if I could overlay the Bitcoin, the Bitcoin chart, I'm sure there would be a significant amount of correlation that's happening between these two. So where am I getting with all this, right? I just walked you down memory lane of a very difficult 6 months if you bought in 6 months ago. But the point that I'm trying to make is there are going to be certain price points that or price levels of resistance that are going to be coming up. And I think it's something that we should all be aware of, just to temper your expectations, right? Can we get into a situation where demand booms and everything skyrockets to the moon and we blow through many of these resistance levels? Yeah, of course. I mean, in a perfect world, that would be awesome. But we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a real one. And so many of the conversations that I've had focus on these two main price points here, the 20 cent range, the low 20 cent range, and then the low 30 cent range. So that's where I would say, 7 to 8, or not 7 to 8, but I would say 80 to 90% of the conversations that I've had range in this area where people got in at 21, 22 cents. And then they may have also bought in around the 30 cent range, seeing it dip. But now that we are down at the 11, 12 cent range, whatever we're at today, oh, look at that. We crossed 12 cents today. Many of these folks have told me specifically that they plan to exit as soon as they reach those markers and those thresholds. So at this point in time, look, getting up to 20 cents, 25, 30 cents, that's going to be a 2x, or 1.5 to 2.5x. From here, it's not unthinkable considering the type of the type of impact that the upcoming actions within the Splinterlands game is going to have on SPS, right? So one being the burning of SPS, which, it's not going to burn that much if you watch one of my previous videos. But in terms of Rift Watchers, other voucher utility, that could push demand for SPS up. Now, we are still fighting a losing battle until the end of the airdrop. And I know everybody's looking at the end at the end of the airdrop and thinking that, it's going to be some savior that comes in, and once it's gone, it's going to be like the boot off of our necks and we'll be good to go. I still think that, until and unless there is demand for SPS, meaning that utility is given to SPS, nobody's going to be buying it, right? This game, even look across the map chat, look across Discord, this game feels so dead to people. It's been in a very stagnant stage for about 4 months now, or since the beginning of the year, I would say. And so it's really going to come down to when will the utility for SPS come in, rather than when will the dilution of SPS actually stop. Now, the dilution of SPS will be great because now we're no longer fighting this upward pressure. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to when will the utility come in? When will people be going in and buying SPS? So, for example, I bought SPS at 88 cents or 81 cents. I bought another bag of SPS around like 58, 59 cents. I haven't bought any since, right? Outside of converting in-game assets, right? So maybe some of the DEC that I win or selling vouchers. I haven't taken any outside capital and bought any more SPS. Granted, I have a good amount right now, so I'm happy with that, and I want to see my bags grow. But the attitude that we need to see from the market, overall market sentiment is, oh, I need to buy this token, right? I need to put money into this game to buy this token. And we're not really seeing that right now, partially because of the fact that many people who want the token are getting it for free. And that's not going to change with staking rewards and then when ranked battle rewards come in. But it will change once there is this desire to say, okay, vouchers get me this, and I want to have more vouchers, or I want to be in control of the of the major decisions. There's some really interesting things coming up with validator nodes and some of the feedback that people want to put in, major changes. I want to have a voice in that. Whatever other kinds of elements play into this, that's going to be that needs to be the driver for people to come in with outside capital to say, I want to buy more SPS, right? And so until and unless we see that, it's just not going to happen. And again, going back to the point of this video, I think some of the resistance points, some of the resistance points we should be taking a look at are the 20-cent range, are the 30-cent range, because those are the first major points of resistance where we could see massive sell-offs as people look to exit the game. Now, here's the thing. Tricky thing about the human mind and human psychology. So nobody wants to buy when it's low, and nobody wants to sell when it's pumping, right? It's like simple investing: buy low, sell high. But so many of us, myself included, get caught up in the buy. This thing is pumping, everybody's jumping in, I need to get on this train, right? So here's what happened. Here's what's happening. And I have no way to really track this, right? But many of the folks who I've spoken with who said that they plan on selling at 20 cents, at 30 cents, or some even at the 40-cent range. I wonder, and I'm not trying to call you guys out, but I wonder if Splinterlands were to pump and maybe the ranked rewards are awesome, or something happens and there's a huge promo and all of a sudden everything pumps up to 20 cents, 25 cents. Are those people at that point then going to flip their mindset and say, ooh, maybe I'll stick around for the ride, right? That could always happen because that's how the human mind works. And again, there's no judgment here. I'm just saying this is how the human mind works. So even though I'm putting these out as points of resistance, it would probably take a very disciplined person to say, okay, I said I was going to sell at 20 cents. I'm going to sell at 20 cents. When most of the community is talking about, hey, this pump to 20 cents might be the beginning of a massive rally for Splinterlands. So it's hard to say where that will come into play and how all these different, the SPS price is going to be so incredibly dynamic because it's so impacted by many different factors, both within the game and externally, right? Global markets, Bitcoin, crypto markets. So it's just, there's so much that goes into this that it's really difficult to figure out how the different price impacts are going to play out, whether we get whether we get the end of the airdrop first, and so therefore dilution comes down, or whether we get some crazy utility that ends up coming in that nobody's really factoring in or pricing in right now. So a lot of this is still very much subject to change. But again, going back to the point of this video, the conversations that I've had tell me that we are going to see significant exit liquidity at the 20 and 30 cent range. So just want to share that with you. Again, all anecdotal from conversations that I'm having, and they're not, it's not, I would say that the conversations that I'm having, again, it's all through text, right? It's all through comments and Discord, isn't necessarily, it's not reliable, but it's also not this super angry mob mentality where it's just I hate this game, it sucks, and I'm going to sell whatever. Most of the people I would say have probably sold out by now. But there are a lot of other people who I would say, at least through the conversations that I've had, are approaching this much more rationally and saying that, well, I'd like to get my money back, and I don't really see a future in the game, so therefore I'm going to wait until there's some kind of pump and then sell out. And that's what I'm trying to bring to you guys here in terms of overall value and information that I feel like I've been given just from the conversations that I've had. So that's all I have in this video for you today. Keep an eye out. Obviously, we're all hoping for a massive rally for SPS. We're hoping for more utility that really drives value towards the token, both SPS and then and vouchers, which is an indirect but very highly correlated with it. So just something to keep in mind as you traders out there decide what to do. But for myself, I'm just going to keep stacking and staking. I think that's just the way to go. Get a lot of value from it, a lot of passive increases in value, which is really nice. So that's all I have. Have an amazing rest of your day. I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game.